You finished? Okay. Councilor Fitch?
Thank you. I do have a few comments tonight. As the council knows, we received a number of emails this week. And I do think, as the mayor pointed out, some of these warrant further discussion, and I think a town hall is an excellent idea. The first one concerned vandals writing the word nigger on the wall at Hope Playground and apparently on the Highland Avenue underpass. While we recognize that that word was written by some racist idiot who obviously has some significant moral issues to deal with, we can, and I think we should, as a council, address these issues of racism, diversity, and inclusion. We have words and policies in our documents that oppose racism. They promote diversity and inclusion. But when it comes to action, I think we are coming up a little short and we can do more. For example, last year we had an opportunity to condemn the Confederate and Nazi flags in our community parades. The majority of the council declined to do so, even though those are symbols of oppression and of slavery. We have had opportunities twice now to look at the interior of City Hall in line with a message of inclusion. But the majority of the council decided that this white-only, I'll call it barrage we have of photographs, should stay as is. And again, I don't think that gives the community much of a message of inclusion and diversity. While I recognize we all have an affinity to old school yearbooks, they do have their time and place. We cherish the history of City Hall as a former school, but it was a school in the 1980s and 1990s. It's when we had a more diverse population as well, but none of that is reflected in City Hall. I do think that we could do a better purpose for that entire community by acknowledging our past, our present, and where we're going as a community in the future. We talk about the future every meeting. And I think we can show a dynamic community that's moving forward instead of one that just reflects a distant past. We also received 2 emails from the homeless. And the intrusion of homeless RVs and vehicles in Redmond is becoming more and more apparent. It first started out in Northeast Redmond, where a number of businesses were being adversely affected. We've now heard from Dixon, who runs the Redmond Athletic Club, as well as some of the patrons there. And now we heard tonight from a resident in a residential neighborhood that this continues to be a growing problem in our community. One of the strange things in the string of emails on homeless was some recommendation that we somehow set up an internment camp for the homeless. I'm not sure how we get to where we view homeless as second-class citizens, as people undeserving of any assistance from the city, but it seems to be there. Twice now, we've had opportunities to help with other partners, such as Deschutes County and others, to establish an oasis here in Redmond. That would be the solution to getting these RVs off of our streets or people living in vehicles. And these are not all drunks or drug addicts. They're families, they're people who are unemployed, they're people who've fallen through hard times because of the cost of housing and the low cost of some of the wages they've been earning. Now, I recognize that we are allocating the $3 million this year in ARPA for the police building, and in conjunction with the cost cap, I agree with that. But we have to stop asking the city manager to solve this issue, because he cannot solve it. Unless we give the police the tools in which to require people to take their RVs and vehicles off the streets into a safe and secure location, Keith can't do anything. I don't know what he's going to tell these people, because there is not a solution right now. We all know it because we know of 2 court cases And we also know of the new state law, which prohibits us from doing that unless there's an alternative location. So there's not anything we can do unless we commit as a city in conjunction with Deschutes County and others to solve this problem. And we have to do it sooner than later because the problem's not going away. In fact, it's getting worse. I'm really glad the council is going to adopt a cost cap for the public safe building. I think that will show the voters that we are showing fiscal restraint and discipline. I think in conjunction with the commitment of the city for $9 million, I think the bond measure is worthy of passage with the voters. But we have to recognize that we need as many voters as we can in support of this bond measure. And many of the concerns that we've heard over the last 9 months don't concern the police building. They concern the homeless issues, issues of racism or diversity. And those are issues that I think we have to address in a positive manner to show the voters that we are listening to them. We know we hear their concerns. We want to make sure there's a solution, particularly for this homeless situation. And we want to take actions that support diversity and inclusion and not just have it in written policies. I'm hopeful for where we're going to go in the future with this. I am hopeful that we will pass this bond measure. We need it. The police need this building. It's imperative that we do it. But we also in the community that have been well voiced to the council. And during this budget cycle, not that I'm seeking your approval at this juncture, but I do think through that budget process, we should and we must address some of these issues so that we can tell these citizens who call in, who write in, who show up at our council meetings like last year, that we're serious about solving these problems, and we will take action instead of just words to do so. Thanks.
Thank you.